morning, everyone. And again, sorry I had to work more than I thought I did over the weekend. I will be back likely tonight for I think the end of Resident Evil 9. And then I will get to the Dave Smith story at some point. But yeah. But no, starting probably this weekend. I will not have to go in on the weekend for more than half an hour to an hour tops, if at all. But yeah. But that being said, welcome to the Associated Guest. I, as always, am your host, Alfie Animus, here at the Bear in Mind channel. Today, we're going to get into Hasan Piker's little flotilla trip, which didn't occur on a flotilla. A flotilla is an actual thing. It doesn't just mean you go to a place. You don't flotilla to places. You take a flotilla to places. Or a plane. Which I do understand Hasan Piker. He didn't want to take a long time. He didn't want to stay anywhere besides his luxury mansion or the luxury... Well, let's get into it.
Now let's begin. Right, so Hasan is back and he's LARPing again. If you remember, he was calling Cubans gross and telling them to shut up and let the
Yeah, and this person, she was on the clip I was going to play of Hasan Piker, or on the Crowder channel, on the Louder with Crowder. Jesus, I can't talk this morning, I apologize. On the Crowder show, she was on there, I think, Friday, talking about how Cubans actually feel about this whole situation. It's not how the whites would tell you, but yeah, so he calls her disgusting. He calls anyone who disagrees with him, including the actual people suffering that he's talking about, including them, if they disagree with him, he calls them disgusting people, and he wishes the worst, or says that they deserve what's happening to them if they disagree with him.
educated Hasan Piker tell them about their country. Well, now he's gone to Cuba in the worst way possible. Here we got a tweet: tone-deaf radicals flock into Havana, staying in 5-star hotels while the island is in crisis. A mockery of Cuban people.
Yeah. And this is the thing. They go there and they stay at 5-star hotels and they party while they're down there. They don't do any actual humanitarian relief. It's all posturing. These people don't give a fuck. It's all about the message. And they're too retarded to cover anything up or even feign any kind of actual relief or caring. At least Trump threw paper towels at people in, what was that, Haiti? Hasan Piker just goes down there and parties in a 5-star hotel set up for mostly stars that want to come down there and do the same.
We just got Diddy Piker there having a great time. People responded the irony of protest.
That chick is someone from Pink News, I think it is, or one of those feminist sites.
Apartheid, and then directly participating in the tourism apartheid, traveling to villages made for the Western elite that falsely portray the magic of communism, while the real Cubans, barred from that luxury, suffer its reality. And yeah, we got their whole squad, snakes on a plane, commies take food and meds to victims of communism. Right here we have the article. They were staying in luxury hotels and traveling in air-conditioned buses as the rest of the island grapples with a worsening economic crisis.
The absolute least you can do when you go on any of these missions. This is the only reason why I don't support missionary work, but I respect it, because most of the time missionaries will live in the same conditions as the people who they are trying to help or whatever. But these rich cosplayers don't even do that. They go down there and they stay in 5-star hotels, and then maybe they'll do some help. They might do some relief work, but mostly they're just going to stay in 5-star hotels and stream, "Hey guys, we're down here. Hey guys, we're down here." but they won't do anything to actually help. As a matter of fact, they just give the government a lot of praise.
That starved it of electricity, food, water, and medicine. The News for America convoy sent socialists from North America and Europe to Cuba by air, sea, and land, under the guise of handing out 20 tons of humanitarian aid, while nearly the entire country is suffering from power outages.
They're keeping these hotels open for these people while the rest of Cuba is suffering. You can't make this shit up.
Lasting over 20 hours, the left is welcomed with air conditioning and wasteful electricity consumption. More than 100 homes wouldn't be without power today if the Castro regime didn't spend on communist propaganda with the international left. This is a gigantic mockery of the entire Cuban people. The left visits Cuba as if it were a party at a zoo, and they go to admire the misery from a luxury hotel. It is outrageous, and this is exactly what Hasan Piker tries to do. This level of performative activism where he doesn't actually endure any of the hardships these people are going through and just looks at them as like fucking cattle, like looking at them through a cage essentially. In fact, the situation is just getting worse. Cuba faces second nationwide blackout in a week. Let's check on Hasan. Hasan responds, explains why he's staying in a 5-star hotel in Cuba. Yeah, this is gonna be absolutely rich here.
I was saying, tourism is the lifeline for the Cuban economy as it stands currently. The government has very limited resources. And the American government makes it illegal
if they knew what they were doing,
for Americans to stay wherever they want.
Didn't try to live it up themselves in these luxury suites, making the people of Cuba suffer again.
When they're in Cuba, they have to stay in what they've declared as 5-star hotels, right? I'm telling you all this because, like, even the 5-star hotels are not like, you know.
They're not that nice. They're not that nice luxury 5-star hotels, okay? They're practically a Howard Johnson.
It's not like it's what the American government has declared.
I don't even know if Howard Johnson's nice.
But regardless, in comparison to the situation on the island, it's prosperity pretty much, and experiencing that dichotomy has like definitely fucked me up, definitely. Like if I were to I mean not ever, but like I hope to come back, and when I do, I'll probably not abide by the American restrictions.
Oh, okay, ooh. I see now. How could have I been so stupid? He just has to stay in 5-star hotels, guys. He cannot help it. The American government is forcing him. They are torturing him, forcing him to stay in these 5-star hotels. No! He would never pick a 5-star hotel out of his own volition. He's not known to indulge in any sort of luxury at all, right? He's not known to have, you know, fucking Gucci bags, live in a mansion on his own in Hollywood.
He's a communist with a Gucci bag. He's got to have his swag.
Or buy supercars. He never does that. Nor does he ever go on luxury trips or paid propaganda trips. You know what Hasan actually wanted to do was to experience some of the suffering. You know, he wanted to suffer like the rest of the people, but unfortunately
guys,
for him,
he's without internet.
He's just too American. Please feel for...
He's without internet, guys. His internet's in and out. Okay. It's horrible for him.
Hasan here, he's forced to stay in a 5-star hotel. Will anybody think of the Hasan Pikers of this world? Please think of the multi-millionaire. Dude, honestly, you cannot make this shit up, bro. This guy unironically goes, oh my god, guys, I have to stay in a 5-star hotel. You absolute champagne socialist fuck. Okay, here's the thought.
Pinky's out. Pinky's out, everyone.
For once in your goddamn life, you damn worm. You pathetic loser, dude. How tone deaf
No, don't
is
speak
this
to him
man?
like that. He likes
You're
it.
chilling in a 5-star hotel while the country is going through blackouts and the people are suffering, struggling to get any sort of resources at all. And here you are, just wasting everything. And the worst part is he literally admits in the same clip that he can actually stay in different places, but he'll just do it next time. Yeah, he'll just do it next time, guys. Of course, when he comes back. Hasan, didn't you just say it was illegal? So, like, make up your mind, you know? People responded, the US makes 5-star hotels in Cuba mandatory? Did the American government make him fly first class too? No, the American government actually forced him to have a home in Hollywood as well. They forced him to buy Kaya, the most expensive designer dog, of course. They forced him to buy the shock collar. Oh, wait, no. That was Israel, guys. My bad. Why does he lie so blatantly and frequently? Because lying is OP, according to him.
Lying is OP, as I say all the time.
The American government makes it illegal for Americans to stay wherever they want when they're in Cuba. Fact check? This claim is misleading and overstated. The US government does not make it illegal for Americans to stay wherever they want in Cuba in the absolute sense, but it does impose targeted restrictions on lodging as part of broader Cuba sanctions administered by the Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets and the State Department. Tourist travel to Cuba is prohibited by statute for US persons. Americans can only travel under one of the 12 authorized categories: humanitarian projects, journalistic work — this must be Hasan, of course — pure tourism is not allowed, which he literally describes being a tourist there, by the way, enjoying all tourist things. Specific lodging: since 2020, US persons are generally barred from lodging, paying for lodging, or making reservations at properties on the State Department's prohibited list. These places are identified and controlled by. So essentially, there is some truth to what he's saying. There is like some restrictions or whatever, but nobody's fucking forcing him to go there and waste a bunch of resources and forcing him to stay in 5-star hotels. You could just stay in fucking America, moron. In short, US rules heavily restrict hotel choices, but they do not force luxury or 5-star stays. They steer people towards cheaper, private, independent lodging to avoid benefiting the Cuban government or military. The clip exaggerates the restrictions into a forced luxury narrative for rhetorical effect. No, Hasan would never exaggerate anything.
No.
He's never lied. I've never seen Hasan Piker tell a lie in my life. Apparently, his trip...
All Hasan Piker does is lie. All he does is the exact thing that he accuses Asmongold doing, but to the other side. All he does is threaten. All he does is unleash his audience upon people. All he does is dox people. All he does is sow division. So much, in fact, that everyone hates him. Literally everyone who watches Hasan Piker anymore is just hate watching. Which is why I stopped watching him. Now I just watch him through clips.
Was so bad, we got Degen Destiny chiming in. Destiny calls out Hasan's flotilla trip becoming a flytilla. From flotilla to flytilla.
Yeah, because he flew.
This MF
He didn't actually go
to
on a
country
flotilla.
Experiencing a blackout and humanitarian crisis and stream for 2 days in a fully air-conditioned room wearing a $5,000 outfit with reliable power? Yes.
And this is one thing I miss about Destiny. I miss Destiny before his wife left him. I do. Because before that, and before his son turned into a neo-Nazi, I miss that Destiny. Before that, Destiny was usually pretty base. I watched Destiny on a regular basis back in the day. Back before all that happened. Before the dark times. And Destiny, like I said, used to be pretty based. He had a lot of stuff I disagreed with and still said a lot of fucked up shit, but nowhere near as much as after his son turned into a white supremacist. And his wife left him for the guy that she was cucking Destiny with.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is peak level of performative activism, dude. This guy does not give a single shit. He's just trying to bolster his own reputation, sort of convince people that he's, this humanitarian trying to help the people, meanwhile living in flippant luxury and actually actively hurting the people there with his propaganda. Do you think he'll shake hands with the poorest, or is he just speaking to paid propagandists like himself? Oh no, he was mingling with a bunch of celebrities, as we'll see. Good, my favorite show. Two Ray Gods fighting, classic. Moving on to Hasan being explicitly racist again, talking down to Cubans because he's
Hasan
the
was
enlightened
racist.
woke warrior of the radical left here.
And keep in mind, Hasan Piker speaks out for marginalized communities. He speaks out for trans people. Unless a trans person tells him to stop, that he's actually doing more harm than good, and then he tells them that he doesn't care that they're trans, that person doesn't speak for the trans community. Hasan Piker speaks for the trans community. He speaks out for black people. Unless a black person or a group of black people tell him to stop, that he's doing more harm than good, and then he tells them that they deserve what they get. And now we've got it with the Cubans. Says it about women all the time. Hasan Piker stands for nothing. It's all performative. like me, you give me a bunch of money, you give me some luxury. One, I won't keep most of it. I'll get a nice enough house where I can actually have a little space to stretch my legs, actually utilize my living room for something other than storage. And I'll be pretty much the same. I don't need a lot of money. Comfort would be nice. Might take a couple nice trips, but other than that, I'll be pretty much the same. I'll go to work. If I could do something like this for a living, that would be fantastic, but probably not in the cards. But anyway.
Hasan explains the difference between Miami Cubans and Cubans in Cuba. Also, real quick, sorry for the glitchiness of this clip. Apparently, the 5-star hotel Wi-Fi ain't great here. I don't know if he's using like Starlink or something. God knows.
Cubans?
Oh, that's what else he is. He's blaming it on the fact that he won't use Starlink because he doesn't want to support Elon Musk in any way, but he's absolutely using Starlink.
Fucking best people, okay? So kind, so welcoming, just the best. Just the absolute best people. Oh my Lord. Okay? Anyway, but yeah, we worked hard and we were able to set up a goddamn stream, you know? Not in Miami. Oh, dude, it's the reversal. Actually, literally, like, exact opposite. Like, all the good Cubans stayed here, and most of the ones that are crazy just like flew up there. I swear to God, I had a really funny experience with that. It's like we get in the car, we get into Uber last night. Marsh and I are about to discuss that we're gonna be in Cuba, like talking about plans, right? And I was like, March, don't say anything, because I noticed that the dude in the car was a Miami Cuban. I was like, don't, like, I literally went, don't say anything. And then I just asked him, I was like, where are you from? And he's like, oh, Cuba. And I was like, okay. And I just asked him about, like, you know, what his feelings are about what's going on. March actually spat some Spanish at him. And let me tell you, okay, he said, Donald Trump needs to finish the job.
Right. Okay, Hasan. So the Cubans are great guys.
And again, this is what all the Cuban people are saying. This is what the people who burned down the communist headquarters in Cuba are saying. This is what all the Cubans that I've known in my entire life, with the exception of maybe one who's been here for like 3 generations, and he's very Americanized, we'll say. Very suburban. But yeah, literally just about everyone else is saying what that guy said. Finish the job.
Guys, but only the ones I approve of, right? The ones who disagree with me, nah, I hate them. They flippin' suck. They don't even know anything. They're self-hating. They're probably racist. I, Hasan Piker, will educate them, right? I, Hasan Piker, the lover of minorities, right? Unless they obviously practice any level of critical thought, unless they actually...
Yeah, let's not talk to the people who fled from these places, who probably endured great hardship and horrible, horrible events when they fled from these places.
We disagree with him. Then he just brings out the white supremacist mode, the real racism mode.
Yo, this refugee, okay? Seriously, fuck this South Vietnamese motherfucking whatever. Like, why don't you go back and live in fucking South Vietnam in the same conditions? Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this?
See, I'm so glad More Pegasus includes this stuff. He's a great editor. He's a great researcher. Simply stunning. Hasan Piker is a disgusting human being.
Fucking chat, suck my fucking cock. Black people care about the
And that's always his go-to. Suck my cock. It's what he always goes to. Ooh.
border. I don't give a fuck what black people care about. Oh, black people care about this. Black people care about that. Like, shut the fuck up.
I mean, honestly, I can't believe like how blatant he actually is with this shit, saying that, yeah, I love these Cubans who actually agree with me, and I hate the Cubans who dare to criticize communism. Oh my god, they don't know anything. Absolute pathetic hypocrite, bro. So then he goes on to say that, oh my god, these Miami Cubans are so stupid. They think that communism is bad, and, you know, I actually had to educate them. I had to be careful around them. Literally racially profiling.
said Donald Trump needs to finish the job. That's what he said. That was the first guy. And this is like, I guess this was March's first real interaction with like a Miami Cuban. You know what I mean? This was his first ever interaction with a real Miami Cuban, like a real ass Miami Cuban, right? So he was like kind of shocked. And I know what the stream Fs look like, Megaphonics. I'm monitoring it. I'm monitoring the situation, and I'm monitoring the stream as well. So March had not experienced that at all. So that was like his first ever inclination. And the guy had no family here. They were all in Miami, right? So like, you know, obviously he was the classic, like, you know, bomb it all, like God sorted out type guy. And then this morning we had another conversation, but this guy was actually so on Trump. And he was still like, oh, the government is like everything. It's bad, blah, blah, blah. Communism is bad. But he was a little bit more open-minded because I was able to like talk to him about the embargo. You know, they have this very weird attitude about it. On the one hand, they understand what their families' lives looked like or felt like when there was a little bit of sanctions relief, and like they could send money with ease to their families. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a strange cognitive dissonance to experience in real time. But, you know, I gave a couple interviews at the airport and stuff, and then we flew in.
Hasan, you're such a fucking dork, dude. This guy cannot help but constantly, explicitly talk down to groups of people all the time, and it is so annoying, bro. It is so annoying. Let Mr. Piker here tell you how communism will actually save the world, right? As he's actively needing to provide fucking humanitarian aid, as communism is totally...
Someone who, and this is Hasan Piker, mind you, someone who, when his people were sued by... Ethan from H3H3, mind you, they were sued for pouncing on Ethan and using his video. They were watching his video, sometimes with little to no commentary, to purposefully pull streaming and ad revenue from Ethan's video. And they said this aloud, and Ethan sued them. He set a trap, and it worked gloriously. But Hasan Piker, after pitting all these former friends of Ethan against Ethan, refused to offer them any kind of monetary aid in their lawsuits. They had to crowdfund, and they failed miserably, which is why they ended up settling. Well, one did. 2 to go.
Definitely not leading to all of this hardship. Let him actually educate you on the benefits of dictators, right? And if you disagree, then you're an uneducated Cuban loser or whatever. You're a war-hungry loser. You're probably a Trump supporter, a Nazi, an Israel dick rider. Yeah, no, Hasan, some people actually just use common sense thinking. This isn't even about politics. It's about, hey, can you fucking open your eyes? They realize that, hey, there's a humanitarian crisis. The situation is not good. The thing that caused this situation is also probably not good. But don't worry, Hasan is coming in on his private jet to save you. He's coming in his air-conditioned car, in his 5-star hotel, you know, taking the limited resources and power in order to do more propaganda. And then he'll get in his little bus ride there and then look at the Cubans, make sure not to touch guys, literally like a fucking disgusting, like, poverty tourist, right? But yeah, good job, Hasan. Next stop will be North Korea. They will welcome you with open arms. They'll be like, you know, this lovely American
North Korea has been strangely quiet.
Love us, you know. We are a democracy here. No oppression, no oppression. It's all U.S. propaganda. He'll be totally chill. He'll take a little selfie with Kim Jong-un. Best buddies right there.
Who's that
Miami
lady?
Cuban. Notice how the left are incredibly racist and ignorant. If you decide to migrate somewhere because you want to leave a communist regime making the people suffer. Listen, I wouldn't group everyone in this. He's like the worst representation. And the fact that he's like the biggest leftist streamer is just doing a innumerable damage to any sort of agenda. This
He
piece
really
of shit
is.
is more racist than Donald Trump could ever be, by the way. He had one
100%.
interaction, and now he is ready to speak on behalf of the 11 million Cubans residing in the country. He has been on Cuban soil for only a few short hours and already sees himself as the Cuban messiah. I'm not sure what's worse about Hasan Piker, his narcissism or his mental retardation. I mean, he did the same to Canada, right? He landed and he's like, well, why doesn't everybody just go to Canada? I've been here for 25 minutes and it seems better than the US to me. You may not like it, but this is what...
This is like that Bill Burr shit where he's like, "Hey, look, a McDonald's, a Starbucks. Oh man, this is just like America."
Streaming looks like under communism, and yep, sound clear as day. You can still see this fucking Diddy Piker outline here. Bro's upset that Cubans who live in poverty and filth would like to live in a better country. They can barely afford food and basic necessities, but at least they have free healthcare. Wow, these people in extreme poverty are so nice
I mean,
to me.
kind of.
Yeah, must be your charming personality and not the US dollars you're throwing around. He's really delusional. He can't tell that Miami Cubans want to go back home to a free and prosperous Cuba, but the Cubans living there now can only live day to day, putting on a smile to the wealthy foreigner, hoping he will be graceful and spare him a day of struggle. Both Cubans are hoping for the same future, they just live in different places. The Cubans that the government allowed me to speak to only had positive things to say, you don't say. Moving on
Imagine
to
that.
Hasan talking about what he did in Cuba. Hasan talks about the beauty of Cuba and what he did after his first broadcast. Linked up with
Pretty
the
sure he
Kneecap
partied,
Boys,
yeah.
yes, fellow terrorist supporters. People are partying in the streets. They are just chilling. They are just chilling, guys. Being chilling.
Like last night, we ended the broadcast, and I went and linked up with the Progressive International boys. I met Jeremy Corbyn. That was fantastic.
Ew.
And I hung out with the Kneecap Boys. We went out and drank at like a local establishment, and we have been we've just been living La Vida Loca. Honestly, we've just been living life, living large, and just peppering people with just wads of cash for the most part, with hopes that there's like a little bit of economic respite for each individual.
Right. That sounds like some earnest charity work, guys. So Hasan was just out there peppering people with wads of cash. Yeah, maybe you could have saved some money from those 5-star hotels there. But yeah, essentially he's saying that he was pulling a rice gum, right? Making it rain on the homeless person type shit here. I mean, that's basically how he's talking. It's not really like a respectful way to put it at all. I mean, leave it to Hasan to do charity work in...
And just hand... I'm not a big fan of rice gum either. Making it rain on poor people. Just hand them the money. Just hand them the fucking money. You can count it out if you like. You can show them it's not all ones, which, by the way, when a lot of streamers do this, I don't know if Rice Gum's one of the ones that do it, but when a lot of these on-the-street streamers hand people a stack of money, there'll be 20s or 100s on the top and the bottom, but the rest are ones, if that.
Like the worst fucking way possible, right? In the most disrespectful, demeaning way you could possibly think of. Takes a stack of cash, just lobs it into the crowd, watches a bunch of people fucking squirm. Let them eat cake. Yeah, also he casually mentions that he hung out with the Kneecap Boys. And if you don't know these guys, they are fellow terrorist supporters right up there with Hasan Piker. Very open and blatant with this shit. Open where his allegiances lie. Openly anti-Semitic, collabing with Mike from PA. Completely shameless guy. Like, he's just not walked back any of this. It's very obvious what he actually thinks, So then he talks about how he was just overcome with emotion, obviously. Seeing all these poor people, it just lights a fire in the socialist heart.
Cuban that we encounter. A lot of the info that you hear and see from the island is like directly coming from like most of the time like National Endowment for Democracy Foundation backed individuals, State Department propaganda, things like that. But in any case, I am overcome with emotions at the beauty of this island and the beauty of the people. It's incredible. It's truly one of my favorite places officially. I totally understand why Will was saying that about Cuba. It's remarkable. The people's resilience is remarkable. There's like rolling blackouts that take place throughout the day, every day, all around the country, right? 11 million people. But today is a beautiful day out here. It's like 75 degrees, sunny.
Yeah, the weather's nice, and the beaches are beautiful here. What does that even mean? This is always what white leftists and Hasan Piker will say about things. Be like, oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I went there. Oh, it was like going to Yum Yum Forest. It was beautiful. There was this, there was that. It was a very nice climate, a very nice temperature. What about the suffering people? This drives me crazy. Like, if you're a vacation streamer or whatever, sure, whatever, say all that stuff. It's pretty cringe on its own, but it's harmless. This person is someone who's going here. He's claiming to want to help people. He's bringing aid and food. The government's going to seize all this shit. The people will not see any of it. That's right. They will not see it. They will not see it. They will not see it. Get what I'm saying?
People are partying. People are partying in the fucking streets. I don't know if it's like an island mindset. I don't know if that has something to do with it. I'm sure that has something to do with it, but like, they're just chilling. Like, Cubans just, they vibe. They chill. They just literally vibe. It don't matter. Like,
mind you, he's been here less than 24 hours at this point.
It's incredible. Yeah, there's like festivals everywhere, like all around. There's like little mini festivals that they put forward, like block parties.
That's for y'all.
Is Global South mindset? South Africa is the same.
Ah, yes, of course. I am overcome with emotion, guys. You know, when I pepper these people with some cash, you know, when I open the window of my 5-star hotel and, you know, drop some cash out the window, make it rain, you know, I'm just overcome with emotions. The people are partying in the streets for me. They are so excited to see Hasan Piker, of course. Specifically Hasan, not his money. Great job, Hasan. You are the Messiah. You totally saved the people. Thank you for your humanitarian work. In fact, I don't think the work is done, actually. I think you should move. I think you should move. I think you should stay there.
Yeah,
I mean, the people
I
obviously love you, right? And you love communism. You love dictatorships. I think you would enjoy it. Pure responded, I hate Hasan, but at least he goes out and travels and tries to do things. Other streamers just sit in filth and yell at their computer about immigrants all day. What exactly is he fucking doing here other than harming the very cause that he's supposed to be advocating for? Like, every bit of propaganda he does on his stream is bad news for the Cuban people. All these oppressed groups fucking hate Hasan. Hasan, being truly relatable, instead stays at 5-star hotels making tens of thousands of dollars, talking to camera on the internet instead. Just peppering people with wads of cash. What is wrong with you? Do you feel proud of yourself that you went to a failed dictatorship and are now, as you say, peppering people with wads of cash? Am I the only one who sees what's wrong?
What? Two things. One, what are they going to spend the fucking money on? Two, you're supposed to bring the thing that they would spend the money on. You're supposed to bring them food, bring them aid, not bring them wads of cash that their government's going to fucking seize anyway.
With how he's acting? Nope, it's extremely tone deaf. Moving on to Blubber the Hutt. Froggen is back, and after consulting with the law firms of Hagen and Doss, she is back in action. And apparently, she's now going around calling someone else fat. She is fat shaming someone else. Oh my lord, we have entered a different timeline.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, but continuing on. Yeah, let's get into what happened with the clavicular thing.
Clavicular is our Rosa Parks, a civil rights icon. That's
no, he's not. Let me tell you this. I don't agree with the fact that this woman had, like, put her hands on him, but Clavicular deserved that. Mind you, this is the same dude that, yes, he had a stream sniper. He ran over the stream sniper with his car, didn't even flinch. And then he's just like, is he dead? I hope so. Still haven't heard anything about any kind of prosecution for that. Again, don't stream snipe people. Don't approach people. Now, if you happen to see them on the street, just say, "Oh man, what's going on? I love your stuff." But unless there's someone like Fluffy who loves this kind of thing, but they have the mentality of, "You remember that PlayStation? Yeah, he helped you buy it." That kind of thing. But Clavicular is not modern Rosa Parks. He's not any kind of. He's a manosphere loser. Okay, he is one of the red pill losers. He's up there with Pearl or Fresh, not Fresh. Yeah, Fresh and Fit, the Tate brothers, and Sneeko. Okay, this is someone who hits himself in the face with a hammer because he thinks it'll chisel his jaw.
That's what they're saying.
Do you really believe women don't deserve rights?
Do you really believe women don't deserve rights?
That's kind of a dumb thing to say, right? You said you don't believe women deserve rights?
Like which one, dude? Got the
Like
clarify.
all women. What's wrong with you for that?
Like which one?
You're weird as hell.
But like, can you clarify what you mean?
You were raised by a mother.
Well, like-
You know all women deserve rights,
But
bitch.
like which one? Like which right? Like the right to vote? Like can you explain like what you mean?
Can you explain what you mean?
Which again, yes, that's not a bad response. Okay, of all the things that Clavicular has done, this is probably the most reasonable and most tame.
You don't want to what?
I'm gonna punch you in the face, bitch.
Go ahead.
I am.
Go ahead. Let's see
You
it.
want punch? Punch you, bitch.
I can't think
The
of a
fact
better
that she
argument
switched that
against
fast.
women's rights. This is the biggest.
I don't agree with that, but I will say that I hate that people like this can vote. And I don't mean women when I say that. I mean just people like this.
Argument against women's rights that I've ever seen. Oh my god.
I'm gonna sue you for that. I'm gonna sue your entire family.
It was nice to meet you. Actually, it was nice to meet you. Actually, fuck you.
I'm gonna sue you.
Women have the right to vote.
Man.
You're getting sued for assault. I'm gonna press charges on you. Hey, hold your ear, call the police.
Hold her here and call the police.
I mean, don't get me wrong. 100%. Nobody should put hands on anybody. But I will say the change up here, right
All
here,
right.
when she realizes what's happening due to her stupid actions.
Oh, hey, grab her.
What's up? What happened? What?
Get her.
Yeah.
Look at her face.
Actions and consequences.
Oh no.
Now, mind you, I do not like this person. I do not like Clavicular. I think he's a disgusting human being. He is. He ran over a person. And again, this is not like someone who was driving to work and happened upon a protest and then they flocked on his car and he was just trying to escape to safety, okay? He intentionally ran over somebody and then showed not even no remorse. He didn't flinch. He didn't look back. He kind of glanced in his rear view. That was it. Now, that person survived, and from what I hear is okay. But still, dude.
Go, get the
Why are you
police.
giving attention to the rod of this clip? Because I think the amount of women that think that they can be aggressive, vitriolic, hostile, and violent with no repercussions needs to end. And every time they
Like, did you see that little heart thing? She thought it was cute. That's not a cool thing to do. It's not good. Look, I don't care. Now, there's levels. Like if someone says the most vile thing to you ever, or no, even then, just don't put your hands on people. Just cut them out of your life. Cut people like this out of your life, and don't turn into people like this girl that's on the other side of this fella. Just don't do it.
For real, like, consequences, I think that it's a great thing. I want to see accountability. Don't you think it's staged for content? Let me get this straight.
I don't think so.
You think that it's unlikely that a drunk woman in a club was yelling at a guy who wasn't really paying attention to her, and she basically gassed herself up to the point to where she hit the guy because she made herself so mad in the conversation, and you think this had to be staged? Really? You've never seen this happen? I hope he puts this bitch in her place. I hope he does. Because
And this is one thing, look, this is why I don't go out. This is why I never liked going out with my boys back in the day, because someone always gets all juiced up and does something stupid to impress. Because hanging out with your boys gets you amped, or hanging out with if you're a girl, hanging out with your girls, or hanging out with your people gets you amped. Sure, but stuff like this is, ugh.
Like these women that think that they can hit people and be violent like this.
Anyway, speaking of vile,
I was saddened to learn about the passing of Chuck Norris, as I'm sure many.
William Earl here. Chuck Norris was a great action star, but politics may overshadow his legacy.
Were. And the meme is that Chuck Norris is always the strength. He's the inverse of whatever the problem is because he's so strong, right? And many people are making jokes saying, Chuck Norris didn't die. He challenged death and hunted him down. Or they're saying that death finally worked up the courage to approach Chuck Norris. Things like that. And he was a good guy. I think he was a great symbol for masculinity and a great inspiration for young men. And many of you may know that he was a conservative. And so what I find...
And you never really hear about anything but humbleness from him. He was never one of those guys who went out and like slapped people around or tried to... At least not that I've heard of. Maybe it's just because from the generation that he was from. And this is... I'm not overly sad about this because you hear a lot of really horrible things about Nicholas Brendan, but the guy suffered a lot through his life. And I'm glad he's finally arrested too. But anyway, I don't want to take this away from Chucky.
Just so absolutely abhorrent. This Variety article. Chuck Norris was a great action star, but politics may overshadow his legacy. You just have to be despicable. These people just have to be despicable. Look, I get it. There's an editor. They say, we need clicks. What can we do? What's our angle? There's 700 different news outlets that have all just run the exact same story, and not everyone's going to click on every single article. So what do? Well, this is where it comes down. These editors will have a meeting, and they'll say, what's our spin on this? And it looks like Variety said, can we insult the man who just died? Politics will not overshadow his legacy.
And look, I got to say, I know Trump just said a bunch of stuff about Mueller. Because Mueller just passed of natural causes. By the way, people are trying to compare it to the Charlie Kirk thing. It's no comparison, for one. And two, look, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that Trump does. This is one of those things that I don't agree with him on. It's a little different in this case, though. Like, he did this when McCain died. He did it when a few people died. But Mueller's a little different. If someone... And you can argue whether or not Trump actually did the things. All evidence as of right now shows that's not the case. So, do I think he should be more presidential? Yes. Do I think he probably should have just said nothing? Yes. Am I gonna completely flip on the few good things that I do think that he's done because he did some things that I didn't like? No. Again, I view everything as this action good, this action bad. The president, I've never personally liked any of them. I used to like Clinton because he was from the same state as me. But so a lot of the stuff that Clinton did was gross. A lot of stuff that Clinton did really fucked this country over, like throwing a lot of jobs to China and Mexico in lieu of giving us jobs here. And I know what you're going to say, it was holding back inflation or whatnot. It wasn't. It wasn't. Because now we don't have the jobs to pay for things. And ever since then, we've been trying to make up jobs. Mostly government jobs, which is leaning towards communism, socialism. Working for the government. Everyone working for the government. That's one thing I'll say about Trump again. The jobs that he's created were not government jobs. Anyway.
Chuck Norris's legacy will be being the meme of great strength. And I'm going to be completely honest. about it, and everybody knows. I'm not explaining anything secret here. The joke about Chuck Norris being incredibly powerful was meant to be in jest. He's an action movie star. He's a TV show, I'm sorry. Although I think he did movies as well.
Yeah, he did a couple movies.
Action icon. And because it was hokey and campy, they were like, nobody can beat Chuck Norris. You know, he doesn't do push-ups, he pushes the earth down. And he was into it, and it was funny. And I'll tell you what I really, really love about it is that there are young men, there are young kids, young males, and we want to teach them what it means to be a man, to be strong, to be honorable. And you have this joke about Chuck Norris where he's incredibly strong and powerful, almost like a real-life superhero.
Kind of.
I know it sounds kind of silly, but it is. Superman's not real, Spider-Man's not real, and what does it mean to have spider powers anyway? That's like the weirdest thing ever. I gotta be honest, have you ever just like stopped and thought about how weird the concept of Spider-Man is?
Yeah.
It's like, I understand if they were like, this guy can fly and, you know, he can throw fireballs or whatever, but this guy is a spider. I always found that to be very weird. Even Ant-Man's not really an ant. But anyway, in real life, when you make up this great scenario about a living
Every hero
guy,
needs a name.
and all of the stories and all of the jokes are just about he's incredibly strong and the snakes fear him and, you know, or whatever the memes. There's just a massive list of memes about him. I think it's good to have that joke because it shares our culture, both our humor, but also the idea of a strong man who's a good man. Well, here's what Variety had to say. You're nothing but a chicken...
And again, I didn't mean to downvote that. And I mean actual strength. Or just someone who's willing to do the right thing. You know what I mean? But,
ish weasel who thrives on the misery of others, and when death calls, you'll be screaming like a baby. Chuck Norris delivers this incredibly badass line to bad guy Ramon Cota, Billy Drago, near the end of 1990's Delta Force 2, The Colombian Connection. His combination of great quips, big kicks, glistening muscles, huge guns, and tight jeans.
he didn't really have
made
glistening
Norris,
muscles. He was very furry.
The all-American archetype of the muscled action star. While many of his contemporaries, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, and Seagal, seemed larger than life with big accents and hulking frames, Norris felt commissioned by the military to prove what a good, strong man was. You see, I like this, you know. This character was solidified by Norris's incredible run of the late 70s and 80s movies after his big screen debut getting killed by Bruce Lee in 1972's The Way of the Dragon. The 1978 film Good Guys Wear Black was Norris's first starring action role. So I was right, it was a movie star. Because he did Walker, Texas Ranger, too. This led to a run of films where Norris would play some type of ex-military expert who has to take the law into his own hands, and cemented Norris as the in-house star for Cannon Films' relatively low-budget, morally simplistic action films. The structure was established early. An all-American loner who has to gun down outsiders. We get it, right? In nearly every Norris movie, he's muscling into a foreign land or othered community, really. Kicking a bunch of ass, completing his mission and hitting the road, or neutralizing the new threat that came to his town. The pattern worked so well it inspired the shift in other 80s films. Can you imagine the jump from Stallone's meditative First Blood to Rambo First Blood Part 2? Things shifted in 1993 when Norris took on the title role of Walker, Texas Ranger, a modern western about a law. Shifted in 1993 when Norris took on the title role of Walker, Texas Ranger.
By the way, he was he like 50 when he did that show?
Modern western about a law.
I mean, we talk about John Wick being a badass, but I mean, John Wick did move a lot faster, but still.
Aw, man, we totally understand. Norris's Cordell Walker was never wrong and always had a strong moral to share along the way. Bad guys were only bad, good guys were only good, but Norris was undeniable in this role, blah, blah, blah. Was Norris a brilliant athlete and top-shelf star? Yes, but there's no denying that his roles were part of a body of work used to show American strength, might, and the pernicious attraction of taking the law into one's own hands. Blah, blah, blah. While Hollywood takes endless shots for being too liberal left-leaning, we get it. As a lifelong fan of Norris, it brings me no joy to consider this messaging of his work as a whole. Here we go. Oh, man. It'd be a lot more fun to shut my brain off and enjoy these. They have to do it. The reason why the bulk of the article starts with, like, we love him, is because they know they are
with a few
intentionally to make videos
sniper
like
shots in there.
Guys, the media is dead, okay? There's a million and one websites When Chuck Norris died, everyone already knew, and you didn't need to turn the TV on, and you didn't need to go to Variety.com. So everyone is desperately playing this game of what do I have to offer? And right now on the internet, you basically just have to say the most shocking and insane thing imaginable, and that works really, really well. I just don't care for this. AI is coming for all of our jobs. They are going to produce movies, commentary, AI slop, and there is nothing we can do to stop it. Videos like this won't even exist. And now you may say, Tim, but I like watching your videos. I tune in every day. Here I am working on a Saturday. Like, I'm gonna watch those videos. Indeed, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you like the video or don't like the video, because if you are being inundated with 5,000 AI-generated slop content videos, and when I say slop, I'm just saying quickly generated, they're getting better and better. It doesn't matter because you'll never see my videos. And only those who intentionally go to my channel to find the videos will actually ever watch them. And that will create a diminishing feedback loop in the algorithm, no new discovery metrics or mechanism. And then everybody who does podcasting or otherwise is going to cease to exist unless they are privately funded by some outside force. So anyway,
which is why I need to get better at consistently being on time and at the same time every time I stream.
Point is, this is a component of this, and I also think wokeness and a bunch of other things are certainly a component of this. While I do believe there's definitely a political element to a lot of the woke stuff that we saw, simply a lot of these companies are just desperate to get any kind of traction or attention. He says, basically, let me read it. He says, while Hollywood takes endless shots for being liberal, left-leaning, considering decades of ultimately, genre fans can appreciate Norris as a larger-than-life marquee figure, but it's a unique twist on separating the art from the artist. When a star is the poster boy for American exceptionalism, at what point does his legacy transition from escapism to dangerous propaganda? Indeed. It'd be a lot more fun to shut my brain off, but it gives me hope for the future, where outrageous law enforcement and one-man militias are fantasy only in a world seen on the VHS copy of 1985's Invasion USA. And that was it. So hold on there a gosh darn minute. Did you think this was going to be a major attack on Chuck Norris for opposing Obama or being a Trump supporter or something? No, it was actually worse than that. It's to attack the legacy of our films, our culture, and our tradition, and to blame Chuck Norris as they do this attempt to pretend that they are fans of his and say that he represented American propaganda. Sure, back then, this is how people felt, and it's what they loved.
Yeah.
And it was a good thing.
It was of its time.
I got this tweet from Gunther Eagleman.
I never really watched it
Spot the
myself.
difference, he says. Rob Reiner, his life and work in photos from All in the Family to The Princess Bride to The Bear. Aw. Variety. Chuck Norris was a great action star, but politics may overshadow his legacy. They
Which one
did
had the
not
proper
go after
politics?
Chuck Norris for his
Same
personal
guy.
political opinions.
Same guy.
The man is literally saying, it's the same guy, by the way. They're literally saying the movies that he starred in and what he represented was dangerous propaganda. I gotta say, don't speak ill of the dead is what they say, right? There are individuals who died that I did not like, and I
do that all the time.
I try to have a degree of decorum. And the media, the games they play, it's all just, guys, here I am working on this Saturday thinking, like, I got to put in the hours, right? I got to grind. We got to.
Anyway, Tim usually tends to just dawdle. So let's ugh. Hold on, more Hasan?
Yeah, I mean, there's this trend on Twitter now where essentially a bunch of people are posting clips where the caption doesn't match the video at all, right? And they will always do shit like this to lie and misrepresent people. And this is unlike when Hasan complains shit is out of context when we have the entire fucking clip there. We can pull up the entire fucking stream if we want to. This is clearly zooming in the cam to cut out the context. And Hasan is, of course, signal boosting this. Again, just want to make it perfectly clear. It's fine if you want to comment on his politics, completely disagree with his stances on things.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway. But let's see. I think Lord Nux talks about... I think he has a few... Nux usually has Oh, wait.
Forced to live with these people because the left has convinced us that actually they're the good guys. Quite literally, fuck this death cult ideology. All right, we are tearing this shit to the ground. These people are evil and they need to be destroyed. I will not unite with them. I will not unify with them. They're fucking evil. We need to humiliate them and obliterate them legally and not with violence. But we need to fucking win by gigantic margins. You can't let this emotional blackmail hang over their head while they pollute our countries with third world shitbags to quite literally rape and kill us. Our culture is great, our country is beautiful, and the enemy is with
Our culture is not great. It needs to be better. But when I say that, I'm not talking about leftism. I'm not talking about the right wing. I'm talking about just being better in general. We need to make better decisions. We need to own up for the after effects of our decisions. And if we do something, we need to fess up to it. Accountability is probably the biggest thing that Americans need to learn about. And that's the big thing. Everything over the last 15, 20 years, nothing is your fault. Nothing. And you see this in left and right politics, and I'm not going to give examples because I could give a lot more for the left than the right, honestly. Like, just take abortion, for a matter of fact. You know, and I've always hated the term pro-choice. Just say whether or not you want an abortion. Look, like it's people make it more deep than possible. Oh, it's baby killing. Oh, it's my choice. You're clearly not good at making choices, especially those. I knew a girl who practically she had like a punch card, and she was right before getting that free Sunday. Anyway,
within.
But no, it's just you're not good at making choices. Just say whether or not you want the thing, and be honest about it. Don't bring all these things, other things, into account. Don't try to make people think that miscarriages are considered abortions and that people will be arrested or sued by the state for having a miscarriage. That's horribly disingenuous, and that's and you have to lie to get people on your side. That one's the one that drives me the craziest, when people have to actively lie to get anything, which is why I don't watch Fox News, which is why I don't watch MS Now, which is why I don't watch CNN. I don't. I watch people like this. I watch Crowder. I still watch the Young Turks, and then I fact check their stuff. I look at what they're saying on X. I hate that Sneeko was on there. Just happened to pop up when I. But yeah, it's disgusting. Anyway.
Now, the people that celebrate this actually, ironically, fled the country. All right, so we have to talk about the communist entourage of dumbos that decided that they were going to go to Cuba to free the people from America or something. I'm not even kidding. This is a real thing that happened. Here is Boy, leftist YouTuber extraordinaire, stacks of solar panels and 30 tons of humanitarian aid heading to Cuba. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the situation in Cuba, Cuba is being constricted because they are being controlled by a radical communist regime that shuts down elections and imprisons dissidents. They literally arrest protesters, they kill them, they steal their shit, they quite literally torture them and impoverish them. The entire country is literally in poverty. They only existed before because they were propped up by other countries like Venezuela. Venezuela is now our bitch, so Venezuela could no longer support them, so now they're fucking dying. Because communism doesn't work. It's an evil, inherently evil, satanic death cult mindset that quite literally exists purely to collect power and to destroy the poor and to yell about how everything is actually other people's fault. So Cuba, which is dying because, quite literally, of the communist government that has been throttling them for years, is crying that, oopsie poopsie, we're poor and there's blackouts. So the people have taken to the streets of Cuba. The people have tried to overthrow the government. The people are lighting buildings on fire and attacking communist headquarters and shit. And the leftists, or the communists of America and the Western world, are going to rescue the retards that are simping for the regime that's killing all their people. I'm not exaggerating. Multi-millionaire, all right, champagne socialists are sailing from the Western world to Cuba to quite literally tell the Cuban people that, no, actually, the communists are great. I'm not kidding. Weird how communists need capitalist countries to survive, all right? So you're sending them all sorts of humanitarian aid because they can't take care of themselves. Well,
congrats, VCU! Go Rams! What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful way to start March Madness. So Virginia fans, I hope you are enjoying all of our Virginia teams that are in the tournament, and certainly VCU kicked it off really well with their success.
Any insight on the budget? If it comes down to VCU and UVA, who do you got?
I did put out my bracket. In my bracket.
Sorry, I saw Alex Jones said, I present you this creature, the fakeness, she's female Gavin Newsom. I thought that was going to be her saying something despicable that people were ignoring. But I felt wrong. Anyway.
Country was a fully functioning country 100 years ago. It was a beautiful country 100 years ago. It looked great. I've seen so many beautiful images, pictures of how it looked. It was beautiful. What happened to it? Communism happened to it. And the F in communism stands for food. Now, Ilhan Omar's daughter is currently in Havana right now with Hasan Piker. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The multi-millionaire communist Nepo babies getting funded by the Chinese Communist Party are going to Cuba to talk to people about how actually the regime is good. To literally broadcast to their audiences of retards that it's America's fault that the people in Cuba are poor. I'm not even kidding. This is a gigantic op. That's right. A bunch of multi-millionaire Nepo babies that are pro-communism are going from America to Cuba to talk about how communism is good to people that are being starved by communism. It's honestly incredible stuff. It really is. All right. Now, Greta Thunberg is also part of this entire event. Now, she's pretty impressive. She started off as being anti-oil, and then she became pro-Islamic jihad.
Show me what the people looks like. Show me what power looks like. Show me what democracy looks like.
Yeah, and now she is literally going to support a not democratic, fascist, communist dictatorship. All right. Show me what democracy looks like, she says as she goes to support a dictatorship that is literally imprisoning all of their people that dissent with them and disagree with them.
The more you know.
She is super against oil, and she cries that quite literally Venezuela is not able to send oil to Cuba anymore. She's a walking hypocrisy. It's unbelievable. She has been groomed from a young age to quite literally be a poster child, a puppet, a muppet that just exists to talk about how the Western world is actually bad. She's pro-democracy, so she's supporting the dictatorship in Cuba. She is anti-violence, so she is pro-Hamas. She is anti-oil, so she is pro-Venezuelan oil going to Cuba. Like, it's honestly unbelievable. They don't actually have any form of conviction or any form of ideology that makes any sense. They quite literally are just little puppets that exist because they're trying to overthrow the West. And in my opinion, a lot of this is funded by places like China and George Soros and people like that. Now, Kneecap is a band that is, by the way, a literal pro-Hezbollah band. They've been banned in, like, England, and they decided to do a little show for the Cubans that support the communist regime. Yeah, look, they say fuck ICE and stuff. They're so cool. Anyway, so Kneecap goes to Havana to play this show. It's pretty awesome stuff, honestly. It's pretty insane. I'm not going to...
And I used to partake in stuff like this. I mean, I wore and I still don't like George Bush. Like, I wore the Not My President shirt, even though it's retarded. He is the president, but, I mean, I didn't vote for him. Mostly because I didn't vote, but I wouldn't have voted for him even if I had.
Show you, and this is awesome. So grim that Kneecap were able to host a concert in Havana while the Cuban dictatorship rations power and denies electricity to its own people. This is the most dystopian shit of all time. And to also understand a little bit more, this was not actually even a concert. All right, this guy says there was a concert. He's wrong. This is not a concert. For those of you that are unaware, this is literally a Nepo baby gathering. Cubans aren't even at this concert. This is literally just a concert for the champagne socialists that went on their little selfie cruise to Cuba to talk about how actually communism is awesome. That's right. They're going to sing songs to the Cubans to save them from unbelievable poverty that was imposed by them by the communist government while they support the communist government that is imposing poverty upon them. It's the most dystopian shit in the universe, and for some reason it's happening. All right? Lol, the Cuban communist dictatorship had to cut off power to impoverished peasants so Kneecap could do a humanitarian performance! I can't play it or I'm going to get copyrighted by these dumb...
Yeah, you can't make this shit up. They literally put the people of Cuba without power so this shitty band can play basically for the communist regime. And a few people who said, fuck it, we don't have power anyway, there's nothing else to do.
Dumb fucks. But this is unbelievable. Think about it this way. All right, an extra 15 Cuban peasants are sitting in the dark today because the communist dictatorship needed to power up a pro-Hezbollah concert. Like, you have to understand, not just the hypocrisy, but the absolute shame that you should be feeling. This is diabolical. This is the most unbelievable shit in the world. Like, this is dystopian in literally every sense of the word. We have multi-millionaire, nepo baby, rich people, all right, from capitalist societies coming to a communist shithole that's a shithole because of communism, talk about how actually communism is good, and steal electricity from the peasants to do a humanitarian performance to praise the dictatorship that is taking the electricity from the peasants. You couldn't describe a better... Like, this is why you have to subscribe to Nuxanor, because I'm always correct, actually. All right, so this is Code Pink. Code Pink is another group of Nepo babies. They are tied to people like George Soros.
Oh, Code Pink, not
Chinese,
Pink News.
Communist Party. All right, and they have decided that they are going to go, and they are going to Havana to protest for the communist government in Cuba. Not even exaggerating. They are going to Cuba to protest against the people that are protesting against the government. This is quite literally the most unbelievable thing ever. Code Pink, you might recognize them. They were like the queers for Palestine and stuff, like the chickens for KFC. Complete retards. All right, so get
Which
a load
it
of
is.
this
It's
one.
completely
We're here
ridiculous.
in the Havana Jose Marti Airport.
Hi, I have fetal alcohol syndrome, and I'm going to talk to you about how I have $1 billion, but communism is actually good.
It's just one part of the donations that we brought.
Wow.
There's 6,500 pounds donations.
Wow.
The value is about $500,000. It's a drop in the bucket for what Cuba needs. But it's
also a drop in the bucket for what all these rich people actually have that they're coming here. All right, $500,000, and they literally had an entire chartered plane and TV crew.
Mind you, these people did not spend any money themselves. Everything that they spent were donations. Everything they brought were donations. They did not spend any money themselves.
All right, they took CNN reporters, they took Code Pink people, they took George Soros people. All right, all these rich people kneecapped the band. Hasan Piker, Ilhan Omar's daughter. Ilhan Omar has a net worth of over $30 million. And they're like, wow, we were able to scrounge together with donations from the public $500,000. You know, this is diabolical shit.
Show of our solid.
The same people who repeat what Evan Loves Wharf likes to say. I'm putting estrogen in some of the candies I bought to give out to children who look like their parents are Trump supporters for Halloween. I mean, he says he's joking, but I strongly doubt it.
Solidarity with the people of Cuba.
The people of Cuba are currently protesting against the communist regime.
Yeah.
You are here to support the communist regime. You are against the people of Cuba. Which is exactly why so many people in Cuba keep trying to leave. They keep trying to come to the United States because Cuba's a shithole. Notice how no one is trying to go to Cuba, but everyone is trying to leave Cuba. Does that not tell you something about the actual situation in Cuba?
Opposition to what Trump is doing.
There it is. They came to Cuba to protest Trump, who's trying to liberate the Cuban people. You literally can't make this shit up. It's honestly insane.
Try to strangle the Cuban people into submission.
Cuba sí bloqueo no. Cuba sí bloqueo no. Cuba sí bloqueo no.
Look at them rescuing Cuba with their TikToks.
Estamos aquí con las donaciones. Bueno, es una parte de las donaciones y estamos aquí en el aeropuerto José Martí.
Yeah, these people, they stand for nothing.
Para decir al pueblo de Cuba que estamos con ellos y estamos totalmente en
Oh,
contra de
white lady knows Spanish. Let's listen to her.
Breaking. Code Pink Shanks. This is what democracy looks like in the streets of Cuba. An authoritarian country that explicitly bans all political parties outside of the Communist Party of Cuba. The irony is, it's hilarious. You know, if people wouldn't be suffering and dying, the irony would be very funny that they're going to preach democracy to quite literally a communist dictatorship. Now, this is an angry Cuban man going to the hotel where Code Pink communists are staying in Cuba, and notice something incredible. This is honestly one of the most unbelievable videos I've ever seen in my life, and I'm so happy this person recorded it, because I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it. So Cuba currently is facing total economic downfall and blackouts across the country. All right, for those of you that are unaware. All right, just to understand, Cuba announces nationwide blackout.
Oh,
all right,
what was that?
currently there is an entire blackout over the understand. Cuba announces across the country. All right, for those of you that are unaware. All right.
$1,380 Hasan Piker's glasses
Economic
were. Hold on.
downfall and blackouts across the country. All right, for those of you that are unaware.
Look at that. Average annual salary in Cuba, $156. Hasan Piker's glasses, $1,380.
All right, just to understand, Cuba announces nationwide blackout. All right, currently there is a blackout over the entire country of Cuba. Okay, just understand what they're dealing with there because of communism. Now, get a load of this video. This is gonna shake you to your core. This is the hotel that all the communist billionaires are staying at. You notice anything funny?
Oh, hey, look, they even have security lights outside.
No lights in any of the buildings. No lights in 90% of the hotel. Literally blackout across the country. No lights from anywhere. But literally just the hotel that the communist billionaires are staying at.
I'm not gonna lie, I realize these are Americans, but the Cuban people should have taken the hotel. I'm not saying that, but I believe it.
This is fucking demonic. It's unbelievable.
It's horrible.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it myself. All right, they get to enjoy electricity thanks to a generator, with 99.9% of Cubans are without electricity because of a nationwide blackout. This is a fucking insanity. All right, and Hasan decided to tweet this. All right, live from Havana, Cuba, monitoring the situation. None of us are free. Cosplays One Piece. Cosplaying One Piece in a 5-star hotel in Havana while actual Cubans live on 50 cents a day next door.
You're not
Like,
Luffy,
it's
Hasan.
Amazing. It's unbelievable. Like, these people are retarded. A highly qualified Cuban doctor with over 20 years of experience, scientific publications, and teaching experience might earn around 7,500 Cuban pesos, which is $20 a month. Hasan Piker makes more money in 2 minutes of streaming from his luxury hotel in Havana than a top doctor in Havana makes in a month. None of us are free. All right, dude. Yeah, we see you, bro. Meanwhile, this is Hasan Piker in Cuba. All right, look at his glasses. These glasses cost $1,400. These are $1,400 glasses where he goes to Cuba. This is honestly,
they're awful.
This is fucking insanity. And here they are in a nationwide blackout. Breaking. Cuba's entire electricity grid collapsed again across the country. Communism is keeping 11 million people in the darkness tonight. And this is them, literally in darkness. No air conditioning, obviously. All right. Socialism in theory. Socialism in practice. Wow, so beautiful. It seems like it works so well. No, it doesn't. It didn't. It just wasn't tried yet. It wasn't tried yet.
It wasn't tried properly.
Hasan Piker's luxury state-run hotel. By the way, this is a communist hotspot. And Havana is the only place in Cuba with electricity right now. The rest of the country is in a nationwide blackout. All right. The actual Cuban people, the saviors. The actual Cuban people. The communist Nepo babies that are fighting literally for the sake of the communist cartel regime. Isn't that beautiful? Now, I'm really glad people are making fun of Hasan for this, because he needs to get fucking humiliated a lot.
Yeah, well, hell yeah, he does.
To Cuba to sit in a hotel. Oh, man. It's not a good place to be in, right?
Oh, this Cuba trip. Oh, my God, this Cuba trip.
Here we are on our way to Cuba.
You can't blockade love.
We're gonna make millions of dollars.
Fuck off.
Where we try our absolute best to destroy Donald Trump by propping up a communist dictatorship that's killing their own people. Woo, let's go. Leftists, they're evil.
Imagine being a brutalized Cuban peasant living under crushing communist dictatorship your entire life, then having to put up with Western socialists flying out to your country in order to.
Like, dude, you probably can't even imagine what like your average Cuban peasant feels like. All right, this dude is there hoping the regime will fall, and then he sees a couple of multi-billionaire champagne socialists fly over to talk about how Trump is bad and actually we need to prop up the Cuban communist regime. It's the most unbelievable shit I've ever seen in my life. By the way, this private plane that they chartered is the flotilla. All right, they call it a flotilla like they're going on a little raft. They literally chartered a plane because they're all billionaires.
Prop up.
Yeah, like I wouldn't. Don't get me wrong. I would have respected if it had been a flotilla, but I would have had less disdain for it. Hey, shapeshifter, what's good?
up that dictatorship while ranting about how oppressive their own infinitely freer society.
Trump is a fascist, actually. Trump is so bad. Did you hear about how Trump killed Alex Preddy? He was a nurse that tried to kill an ICE agent, and now he's dead. And he died for fucking nothing, trying to protect pedophiles, and now he's dead. We are literally living under oppression. Meanwhile, these people are literally going to jail for voicing their protest in public. They are starving, they are poor, and they have no electricity. They have no oil. They have no cars. All right, this is unbelievable.
Supposedly are, and it's pretty obvious why he.
Now, in my opinion, it's very obvious why this is going down. It's because Hasan Piker, in my opinion, is funded by the Chinese Communist Party to be a
he 100%
literally
is.
disruptive influence within our own country, doing his absolute best to promote these regimes that quite literally are antithetical to our belief systems, because he's trying to destroy us. I think that's his actual goal. I think his actual goal is to be a disruptor, and I think he needs to be denaturalized and deported or jailed for treason if we actually discover some sort of link to our political enemies. But hey, that's just a blue retard theory. Hasan explains why he's staying at a 5-star hotel in Cuba. Ooh, poor Hasan.
Why he's staying in a 5-star hotel in Cuba.
Tourism is the lifeline for the Cuban economy as it stands currently.
Yes, you know why? Because it's communism, and communism cannot survive because they don't produce anything, because communism turns every country into a shithole, so they can only exist with foreign money flowing in. So, yes, of course, obviously tourism is the thing keeping the country afloat, because they're communists, and they can't do anything themselves, because communism is cancer. It's evil. It's anti-God. Thou shalt not steal.
It's very limited.
So wait a minute. So here's the logic. I get it. So because tourism is how they make money, it makes sense for him to spend as much money on tourism while he's there.
I was saying, tourism is the lifeline for the Cuban economy as it stands currently.
Yeah.
Hasan Piker and a bunch of people from Code Pink said they had a flotilla to Cuba. They chartered a private jet. And they took only donated items, and all the money they used on the trip was donated, except for Hasan Piker. But he, I don't know if he was on the same jet as them. I don't know if they came from the same place, but I'm pretty sure Hasan Piker's based in a different place than Code Pink. But I don't know that 100%. Actually, let's check real quick. Da, 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 da. Founded in 2002. Okay, so never mind. They're headquartered in Los Angeles. So yeah, Hasan Piker was on the same plane. But basically, they went to Havana, stayed in a luxury hotel. They brought in generators to put electricity in this hotel, so people like Hasan Piker can live stream without actually going out and helping anybody. And he's talking about how he talked to some Cubans from America and how they're so stupid because they support what Trump's doing when it comes to Cuba. Because they want their homeland to be free so they can go back there. While I'm sure they love it here in America, they would much rather go home.
Government has very limited resources. They have to stay in what they've declared as 5-star hotels.
Junior Streamer is drank at a local bar. He gave money away. Wait, what is this?
Last night.
Yeah, he's just out there. He's like talking to these Cuban peasants like they're strippers. Just like
he's giving them money that they really can't use. The government will seize it. I simply don't understand what these people think they're doing. You cannot, and in a lot of these countries, they'll say no to tips because they know that the government will come and seize it.
You know, Throwing dollar bills onto the crowd.
We ended the broadcast, and I went and linked up with the Progressive International boys.
Yeah.
I met Jeremy Corbyn.
It was awesome. I met up with all my celebrity homies. We partied hard in Cuba to fight capitalism.
Fantastic.
Is that guy a retard?
Hi, I'm here in Havana.
We went out.
That guy is retarded, actually.
Yes, he is.
It's so weird that all of these people also support Hamas terrorists. Is it a coincidence? Probably not. It's almost like they want to destroy Western civilization. None of them care about the Cubans. None of them care about the Palestinians. None of them care about any of oil and the environment like Greta Thunberg was talking about. None of them care about any of these things. Their actual goal is the destruction of Western civilization.
It's literally
the moment
this.
you notice that, the better off you will be while analyzing almost any geopolitical situation. And unfortunately, not enough people have the balls to call it out. But that's the truth. They fucking hate us and they want us dead.
Drank at like a local establishment. We've just been living La Vida Loca, honestly.
Bro, we've been living La Vida Loca. We've been living our lives. We've been loving it. We've been out there with like my other billionaire homies. We've been chilling. It's been awesome. We do propaganda, pro-communist propaganda for the American retards that watch our streams. It's amazing.
So let me get this straight. So you went down to Havana to hang out with other celebrities?
Absolutely. We've just been living life, living large, and you know, just peppering people with wads of cash for the most part.
Yeah.
With
I
hope.
did it in ones because it makes like a nice little cloud of ones when you throw it at people. It's awesome.
That, you know, there's like a little bit of economic respite for each individual Cuban that we encounter.
The Cubans.
It's all for them. It's
Literally
totally all for them.
No!
That's good. You know, they say, gentlemen, some things never change.
Cubans?
Yeah.
Fucking best people.
They're
Okay.
the best people, but specifically the good Cubans. The Cubans that are here in Cuba under communism, not the bad Cubans that tried to flee communism to have a better life.
So kind, so welcoming, just the best. Not in Miami. Oh, dude, it's the reverse.
I hate
like
those
all the good Cubans stayed here.
The good Cubans are here. The
Yeah,
bad
all
Cubans
the
are
good
trying to
Cubans
flee from
stayed there
communism.
impoverished.
The good Cubans are suffering under communism. I hope you understand.
And most of the
Exactly.
Yeah, see, they hate Cuban immigrants because they tend to vote conservative.
That's a stream?
Funny experience.
So you racially profiled them. It's crazy.
Not only do most Cubans who immigrate to America, not only do they try to get legal citizenship, but they usually tend to vote Republican. Usually.
See how the people that escape the country don't like it. I would have never expected that. I would have never expected this in a million years.
No way.
So yeah, it's see, there's the good Cubans and the bad Cubans. The good Cubans are the ones that agree with me.
Yeah,
the bad Cubans are the ones that don't agree with me. Ah, I see. That makes
That is how it works, and that's Hasan Piker, ladies and gentlemen. Champagne socialist, here to destroy the West. He's doing
communist
his
with
best,
a Gucci
and honestly,
bag.
He's doing a pretty good job. Now, destroying our country really seems to be a fundamental principle of leftism these days, because they just hate what we stand for. They hate the biblical values that our countries are built on, and they want us to be destroyed. It's actually very obvious if you pay any attention. So Donald Trump has been on fire lately. He tweeted this: "We have two options: deport every single third world migrant, illegal alien, and America-hating visa holder, or surrender your nation the way the United..."
But anyway, so that's what's going on with the Cuba situation. A bunch of rich retards went down there and pretended to care, didn't really do anything to help, didn't really do anything to change, pretty much just handed the government a bunch of shit, talked up the regime, and then they left. But anyway, guys, that's all I've got for today. I appreciate the turnout. We had a pretty decent turnout today. I appreciate everyone who stops by. Shapeshifter, I always appreciate the engagement in the chat. But I gotta go. I gotta go to work. Thank y'all very much. As always, this is Alfie Animus with the Associated